We need to write in terms of x and y this expression, sine of tan inverse x minus tan inverse y. Now, before we begin this, we need to know a few things from trigonometry. So, these are the prerequisites. We need to know the definitions of sine, cos, and tan. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan is opposite over adjacent. And then if sine inverse x equals a, then sine a will be equal to x. That's what we mean by sine inverse x equals a. And so you can write similar relations. If they give cosine inverse x equals a, then cos a will be x, and so on. We can do that for tan inverse as well. And then we need to know the sum and difference formulas for sine, cos, and tan. Sine of a plus b is sine a cos b plus cos a sine b. If you have a minus here, there will be a minus. And cos of a plus b is given by this formula. And if you have a minus here, the sign changes to a plus here. And tan of a plus b is given by this formula. And if you have to do tan of a minus b, then the signs will reverse. Wherever you see plus will be a minus, and the minus will be changed to a plus. So these are the prerequisites that we need to be really good at. So it's assumed that we know those trigonometry basics. So let's go ahead and write down, work the problem out. So let's copy the expression. It says sine of something minus something, tan inverse x minus tan inverse y. So eventually we'll be using sine of a minus b formula. So look, that means we want to call this as a, tan inverse x is an angle, and this again is another angle. Let's call it b. And let's write it out as an equation. Tan inverse x equals a means tan a is equal to x. And tan a equals x means opposite over adjacent is x. We can write x as x over 1. We can think of x as x over 1, and then we draw a right triangle. And we want to use this information, tan a equals x. So let's call this acute angle as a. And tan a is opposite over adjacent. So if tan a equals x, that means opposite is x and the adjacent is 1, because x is same as x over 1. Now we will have to figure out the third side, which is the hypotenuse. We can use Pythagorean theorem. You square the legs and add them. So 1 plus x square is what you get when you add. So the hypotenuse would be square root of 1 plus x square. Now let's move on to this. Tan inverse y equals b. We have one other relationship, which means tan b is equal to y. So do the same, draw a right triangle, because we want to use this relation, and call one of the acute angles as b. So let's say this is b. So if tan b is y, tan is opposite over hypotenuse, which means opposite will be y, hypotenuse is 1, and just like before, we'll use Pythagorean theorem to figure out the hypotenuse. It's going to be square root of 1 plus y square. So we want to build this triangle, and then now we have to write the expression sine of, notice this is a and that is b. So all I have to do now is figure out sine of a minus b. And the formula for sine of a minus b is sine a cos b minus cos a sine b. And once we have these triangles where a is an acute angle and another triangle where b is an acute angle, we can tell what sine a cos b cos a sine b are. So let's go ahead and use this triangle to figure out sine a. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So sine a is going to be x over square root of 1 plus x square. And cos b. For cos b, I have to use this triangle that has b in it. Cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, so it's going to be 1 over square root of 1 plus y square. So sin a cos b means you multiply sin a with cos b minus, now cos a, we go back to the first triangle, cos a is 1 over square root of 1 plus x square, and sin b, we come to the second triangle, it's opposite over hypotenuse. So that's going to be y over square root of 1 plus y square. Now, we have to multiply these two fractions. So x times 1 is just x over square root of 1 plus x square, square root of 1 plus y square, minus 1 times y is y over square root of 1 plus x square times square root of 1 plus y square. And notice that we have the same denominator, square root of 1 plus x square, square root of 1 plus y square. So if you take the common denominator of square root of 1 plus x square, square root of 1 plus y square, then the numerator is just x minus y. So that's our answer.